if I would be able to, under severe stress of, say, cold is stress, and it is stress on the cells biology in the brain as in the body, and we have no control over the stress. And this stress within this experiment, wherein they had me shoven into a brain scan, and 74 people had formerly done the same experiment. And they showed, dressed in a perfusion vest, wherein cold water streams in, that the skin temperature is just going down when the cold water comes in, and it goes up when it is warm again. Skin temperature. You cannot do anything with your mind. It's just going down. It's going up, going down. This is stress. Stress on our bodies, on the cell's biology. And we have no way to command, to stop it or to stand above it. We have none. Imagine wars and traumas and PTSD and depression and all those things is because of this stress getting in our brains, deregulating our hormonal balance, and thus we lose the good feeling. Yeah. And we have no way to control that. Now, 74 persons showed all the same graphics. And I showed the same graphics when I did nothing. But the day 3, I had to show what the Iceman is capable of. And I really did not know what to do. But then I began to think back the way I was in nature, on Mount Everest, in a whiteout, in shorts. Tranquil, nice, swift, no paranoia. Under the eyes, lost away. No goggles on, couldn't see anything. Where was the hole? No panic, no fear, no paranoia. So many more of those situations, I always had the confidence. And I felt this connection within the body. And I remembered that in Detroit, Michigan, the morning I had to go in the brain scan and show a different graphics when cold water is coming in and warm water is coming in, and cold and warm and cold and warm, not affecting the skin temperature by command, by just thinking. Is that possible? And I thought, yes, of course. I had, through intuition, I had this feeling, hey, I'm just going to do it. So went to the university. They got me in the brain scan. I always say, you give the best, you get the best. And I did it. I made my skin temperature go 1 degree up, and the cold was coming in, and it did not affect my skin temperature. Right. Like twice 35 minutes. By the way, the cold water, it felt warm because I was warming the water up just by thought. I was not able to breathe deep or to contract the muscles because you see blurred visions, images on the brain scan. And the cold represents stress on the cell's biology. And normally you have no way to deal with that stress. So you just let it go. It comes in cold and then warm, cold, warm, cold, warm. And we have no way to outbalance it or to transcend the elements working on the body, not with the mind. But there I show to go and transcend it, transcend the impact on the body. And not only my body became warm, like really warm there in those areas, they looked up in the brain. And what they saw with the 74 people is that when stress comes in, and that's regular stress, can be anything, emotional stress, heat, cold, oxidative stress through stress of daily life and all, it all has an effect on our being, on our physiology. And normally we are not able, just by thinking, to make that stress go away. So this is the way it works in the brain. When stress comes in the prefrontal cortex, there is a lot of activation. That's your consciousness, your direct here and now consciousness. It's cold, very activated. Insula, which is activated when in deep meditation or when you feel really relaxed, very inactive at the moment when there is stress going on. That is what normally works in the graphics. And then they looked in my brain, and they saw that the prefrontal cortex was completely shut down, and the insula was really on. While being under stress, I was in deep meditation. And then they saw another thing, and that is actually something innate but unknown to science. Is the periaqueductal gray hemisphere, which is part of the brainstem. The deepest is between the spine, ganglia, and the brain. Mm-hmm. It's where it all begins. The very primitive brain. It's where created the opioids, and the cannabinoids. Right. And they, in case of stress, say depression, or danger, or cold, or impact, then you need opioids and cannabinoids to make the unpleasant feeling and can go very extreme. And you don't feel the euphoria anymore. But at that moment, we have an innate capacity to downregulate the imbalance and make it right again by the wrong feeling driven from imbalance, hormonal. Becoming depressed or feeling bad, anxiety, fear, PTSD, trauma, anything in the brain. Now we found the pathway to break the cycle of feeling bad, the loop, and get euphoric hormones in, cannabinoids, plus a pain cycle we drop through bringing in opioids. Mm-hmm. And that is, they say, we found compelling evidence of the key components of the autonomic processes. Autonomic is normally outside of our will.
Ability to control.
And now we have found them, autonomic processes in the brain related to mood regulation. They say it's a transformational technique that will change mental health care.